think a lot of people are excited about the quarterback competition and what that's going to entail. I think the biggest one for me, which is slash a concern slash I'm excited for, is seeing who's going to be competing to get those two starting spots at the cornerback position. I want to see who's going to step up. I'm interested to see if there's going to be a surprise, Jason. Two surprises, we'll see. But, that is going to be something really fun to cover and watch and kind of get the gist on what Coach Woodson is going to put up there, because you lose Asante Samuel Jr. He's going to do a fantastic job with the Chargers. I think Florida State's going to miss him quite a bit this upcoming year. We'll see. But there is talent there. They just got to figure out who's going to fit the best. I think missing the spring last year didn't help one bit. But you bringing back probably Jerrion Jones. You've got Brownlee. Those two were starting at DB whenever we were at the spring scrimmages, but you've also got Miko Dotson that is extremely talented. At one time led the country in interceptions down there at FAU. Comes up here, isn't fully healthy last year, looked pretty good whenever he was in the season, but we'll look forward to seeing himself compete too. And you've got, some other guys like Akeem Dent. Is Akeem Dent a bust or no? We'll see. I mean, this is someone who came in as a 5-star prospect, has dealt with injuries, had a great freshman year. If he would have caught those interceptions too, he would have been, fans would be so excited for him more than, coming up in this upcoming season. But there's a lot of talent that's at cornerback. You just got to figure out who fits where the best.
The first thing you mentioned is kind of interesting when you bring up Jerrion Jones, and I could just use this as an example. Jerrion Jones is the reason we lost the Georgia Tech game. Jerrion Jones, if he either plays defensive back and actually covers his man, he stops Georgia Tech's only touchdown, or if he blocks one of Asante Samuel's interceptions, that's a pick six, and Florida State wins the game. Who knows if the season ends up somewhat a little bit better than 3-6 at that point. But I guess that's my main concern is that's what concerns me about these guys coming in. And, not trying to go after Mackenzie Milton here on this one. But when you bring in these transfers, it's like, hey, you've got all these transfers. And then Jerrion Jones is an example of the way you don't want to transfer to play. So that's why I feel like he has the most to prove, because he came in high and mighty. Hey, this guy's coming in as an SEC defensive back, and then we saw what happened after that.
Yeah, no. With Jones, I do think he is going to get a lot of opportunities to start games. It might be first game against Notre Dame. I think that his injury didn't help one bit. And I also do think that, of course, there was mistakes made by him. I'm just not going to be shocked if he's out there against Notre Dame. That wouldn't be a shocker to me. You also got a guy like Brandon Moore who transferred from UCF, great friends, close. Brothers practically with Mackenzie Milton, played nicely at UCF. Dealt, I believe, ACL injury, knee injury, and then, is coming here as another veteran guy and looked pretty good in the spring. Is that a guy that shows out out of nowhere? Is that your number 3 option there? It's going to be a Kevin Knowles as a true freshman coming in. Is that a guy who also had a good spring game too? Is that a guy that gets into that rotation? We'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. Does Akeem Dent move from cornerback back to safety? That's safety room is also pretty loaded with some talent there, and Jamie Robinson. But mainly it's those two corners I'm looking forward to watching.
Mark, is everything okay? Everything okay on the phone end? You're good to go?
All is good. Absolutely. I am locked in. Okay. I haven't missed a word.
Okay. If you just want to put your phone on silent, that'd be great,
Okay.
Just saying. Wow. Sportsmanship.
It's like to wake you boys up every so often. Okay. All right. All is good. All is good.
What are you excited about, Jason? What is it?
The general optimism. I'm the fact that this is the first time in 4.5 decades that there's nowhere to go but up. We've talked about it, and you can call it a pessimist if you want to, but this was their worst record since 1975. Only one person on your screen right now was alive then, and he was a small child at that point. That's you, Mark.
Yeah, I know. I was just letting you know, very, very small child. Very small child there.
But that's why I feel like there is nowhere to go but up. But and James has talked about this before, about how our expectation should be 8 wins, 9 wins, 10 wins. That's what the expectation should be. And I do agree that that's what it should be. But the reality is, 7 wins is what you build on. I think the goal has to be 7 wins this season. If you're 7-5, then you can build on a schedule in 2022 that's a little bit easier. You get Clemson at home that season. You get Florida at home that season. You have to go to a Miami team that will probably lose J.R. King, lose a lot of their guys. You'll go to play LSU in New Orleans. LSU's kind of going downhill a little bit. That's why I feel like there's nowhere to go but up. That has to be the mindset this season.